Welcome back, my savvy savers. The Nintendo eShop has dropped another wave of Christmas deals, and I've gone through the sale to find the games that genuinely deliver for less than $5. I know we all love the AAA bangers and massive franchises, but I am unbelievably cheap, so I've been scouring the $5 bargain bucket to find some bangers. I've picked out 11 games that are cheaper than your average coffee but offer far more satisfaction. Obviously, the scope of a lot of these games isn't going to be too grand, but as individual experiences, they are fantastic. So without further ado, grab a brew, get comfy, and let's dive into these $5 bargains. Let's kick off this list with something deceptively simple that completely swallowed my free time. Kingdom Two Crowns is a minimalist side-scrolling strategy game based on building, defending, and expanding a kingdom using a streamlined set of mechanics. You collect coins, recruit units, construct defences, and gradually push your borders outward across procedurally generated islands. Enemies attack each night, forcing you to balance exploration with preparation, while long-term progression comes from unlocking new technologies, mounts, and structures across multiple reigns. The game supports both solo play and drop-in co-op, which changes how resources and decisions are managed. What I loved about this game was how clearly the systems communicate cause and effect, making success feel earned rather than random. It's approachable on the surface, but rewards planning and restraint over time. Kingdom Two Crowns is currently $2.99 US or $3.75 Canadian and is 85% off until January 5th. So yeah, this next one can get pretty hectic. Dungeon of the Endless is a roguelike dungeon crawler fused with tower defense mechanics, built around risk management and tactical decision making. You explore a procedurally generated facility one room at a time, managing limited resources while protecting a fragile crystal from incoming enemies. Opening doors spawns threats, forcing you to choose where to place defences, how to allocate power, and which routes to prioritise. Heroes level up between encounters, unlocking abilities that influence how each run plays out. The challenge comes from balancing exploration with survival, and poor planning can quickly snowball into failure. Arguably, the best part of this game is how every system feeds into one another, creating constant tension without relying on randomness alone. Dungeon of the Endless is £3.59 or your regional equivalent, and is discounted by 80% until December 26th in the UK and Europe and December 27th in North America. And this next one is a little less careful planning and a bit more mental chaos. Bravery and Greed is a side-scrolling dungeon brawler that blends arcade-style combat with roguelike progression. You move through branching levels filled with enemies, traps, and treasure, collecting loot that enhances your abilities during each run. Combat is built around speed and crowd control, encouraging aggressive play rather than cautious positioning. Different characters offer different strengths, and multiplayer support turns runs into chaotic cooperative sessions where coordination becomes essential. Progression resets between attempts, but the variety of encounters keeps each run feeling distinct. What stands out to me is how readable and responsive the combat looks, making moment-to-moment action easy to grasp even when the screen fills with chaos. Bravery and Greed is available for £3.19 or the price shown on the screen, with an 80% discount until December 19th in the UK and Europe and December 23rd in North America. And this next one is slower, darker, and more atmospheric, but equally beautiful. Silt is an underwater puzzle adventure built around exploration, environmental interaction, and subtle problem solving. You navigate a hostile oceanic world using possession to take control of sea creatures and manipulate the environment in order to progress. Each creature offers a unique function, turning movement and navigation into layered puzzles rather than traditional obstacles. The game avoids dialogue-heavy storytelling, instead conveying its narrative through visual design and atmosphere. Its monochrome art style and restrained sound design reinforce a constant sense of unease. I absolutely loved how the mechanics and presentation work together, making the exploration feel deliberate and thoughtful rather than being rushed or directionless. Silt is currently £2.39 or your country's equivalent, 80% off until January 1st in the UK and Europe and January 2nd in North America. This next one's a cracking little game. Terrorbane is a comedic adventure game that deliberately subverts traditional design conventions at every opportunity. The levels are structured to look familiar at first, only to twist expectations through rule-breaking mechanics and meta-driven surprises. Progress often involves experimenting with what the game allows rather than following clear instructions, turning confusion into part of the experience. The puzzles are intentionally simple, giving room for the humour and presentation to take centre stage. The game constantly acknowledges the player, blurring the line between system errors and intentional jokes. And the key to this is how committed it is to the bit, using unpredictability as its core mechanic instead of relying on complex systems. Terrorbane is just £3.59 or your region's equivalent, and is 75% off until January the 8th in the UK and Europe, and January 9th in North America. Moving on from that quirkiness, let's sink into a strange, lonely sci-fi world. Beautiful Desolation is an isometric narrative adventure set in a distant future, where human civilization has collapsed and evolved into something unfamiliar. The gameplay focuses on exploration, dialogue, and light puzzle solving as you travel between handcrafted locations and interact with eccentric characters. The progression is driven by uncovering story fragments rather than traditional upgrades, encouraging curiosity over optimization. The world is dense with environmental detail, using visual design and music to convey history and tone instead of heavy exposition. Choices mainly affect how information is revealed, rather than branching outcomes, keeping the focus on atmosphere. What I enjoyed most about this game is how it trusts the setting to carry the experience, allowing quiet exploration to feel meaningful. Beautiful Desolation is £2.69 or the price on the graphic, and is discounted by 85% until December 28th in the UK and Europe, and December 27th in North America. If you want something dark, symbolic, that leans hard into myth and morality, Saga of SIns is for you. A gothic action-adventure inspired by medieval art, religious imagery, and moral allegory. Gameplay blends side-scrolling combat with environmental puzzles, centered around the ability to transform into demonic forms representing different sins. Each form alters movement, abilities, and combat style, requiring you to switch strategically depending on the challenge. Levels are structured around these transformations, making progression feel mechanically tied to the narrative themes. The visual presentation resembles animated stained glass artwork, reinforcing the game's identity throughout. What stands out to me is how tightly the mechanics support the central idea, with very little wasted design space. It's focused, stylized, and designed to be experienced deliberately rather than rushed. Saga of SIns is currently £1.79, or your currency's equivalent, with a massive 90% discount until December 26th in the UK and Europe, but unfortunately it's not on sale in North America. And sticking to the creepy tone, Bulb Boy is a hand-drawn horror adventure built around point-and-click style exploration and puzzle solving. You move through grotesque but cartoonish environments, interacting with objects and characters to progress through a surreal storyline. Puzzles are straightforward and logic-driven, keeping the pace steady while allowing the art and tone to take centre stage. The game balances creepy imagery with humour, preventing it from becoming overly oppressive. Its structure is linear, making it easy to follow without constant backtracking. The expressive animation gives personality to even the smallest interactions and background details. It's compact, cohesive, and clearly designed for a single focused playthrough. Bulb Boy is available for £1.79 or your regional equivalent, and is 75% off until January the 8th in the UK and Europe, and January 10th in North America. This next game is short but packs a punch. The Takeover is a classic side-scrolling beat-em-up inspired by arcade-era brawlers. Gameplay revolves around chaining attacks, managing crowds of enemies, and using positioning to avoid being overwhelmed. The characters offer different movesets and attributes, encouraging experimentation across multiple playthroughs. The levels are linear and combat-focused, emphasizing flow and rhythm over exploration. The visuals are clean and readable, with animations designed to clearly communicate hit impact and enemy behavior. The controls feel responsive, which makes the combat satisfying without needing complex mechanics. It doesn't attempt to modernize the genre unnecessarily. Instead, it delivers a confident, straightforward brawler experience. The Takeover is currently £2.69, or the price shown on screen, 85% off until December 31st in the UK and Europe, and January 1st in North America. This next one is fantastic. Dead in Vinland is a survival management RPG where success depends on long-term planning and careful resource control. You manage a group of survivors, assigning daily tasks such as gathering food, crafting items, and tending to injuries. Systems like morale, health, and relationships are deeply interconnected, meaning one neglected area can destabilize everything else. The combat exists, but preparation and decision-making matter far more than your reflexes. The Viking setting reinforces the harsh tone, with survival always feeling uncertain. What I find most compelling is how every choice carries massive weight, creating tension without relying on randomness. It rewards patience and adaptability rather than quick solutions. Dead in Vinland is £3.74, or your country's equivalent, and is currently discounted by 85% until December 27th in the UK and Europe and December 28th in North America. And to close things out, I've added something calm, hopeful, and quietly optimistic. Before We Leave is a peaceful city building game centered on sustainability, exploration, and rebuilding civilization without combat. The gameplay focuses on managing resources, expanding settlements, and reconnecting isolated islands and planets. The systems emphasize balance, encouraging thoughtful growth rather than rapid expansion. New technologies unlock gradually, allowing settlements to evolve organically over time. The game's structure supports experimentation without heavy penalties, making it approachable while still rewarding planning. The visuals are bright and clean, reinforcing the game's relaxed tone, and the progress feels collaborative rather than stressful, turning development into a steady, satisfying process. It's designed for players who want strategy without any pressure. Before We Leave is available for £3.74, or your regional equivalent, with a 75% discount until December 19th in the UK and Europe. I've just looked quick and it is actually 90% off in North America, so it will be costing you just $1.99 US or $2.79 Canadian, and it is on sale here until December 23rd. And that wraps up this round of Nintendo eShop deals for $5 or less. If even one of these games made its way onto your Switch, I'd call that a win. Sales come and go, but finding games that massively over-deliver never gets old. Let me know in the comments what you've picked up recently or what you were hoping comes on sale, and if the video helped you at all, consider leaving a like and subscribing, and definitely feel free to leave a comment. I'm always open to criticism and your thoughts in general. But with that said, thanks for watching, stay cozy, and I'll see you around.